What is going on, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by. I just want to let you know right off the bat, I appreciate the fact that you are here, and we are going to talk about Clash Royale and 4,000 trophies, Legendary League, 1,000 trophies past Legendary League, and I did it with a couple of versions of the Golem Swarm deck. Now, of course, it only lasts for one season and then it resets. But, you know, that's the way the game works, and we've got to struggle to get back up there once again and earn more of those Legend League trophies. But we will take a look at a couple of replays using versions of the Golem Swarm deck. I've got the deck up there on the top right so you can see. It is based around the Golem, the Valkyrie, and the Elixir Pump. And of course, my favorite card, the Minion Horde. That is always getting in there. Just about every deck I play has the Minion Horde. You'll also notice both of us have the Elixir Collector. It is extremely popular, and really, there's only two ways to combat an opponent's Elixir Collector. One, you've got to do some damage to it, or two, bring your own and even up the score as the Elixir collects, especially during that last minute of double Elixir. So I'm dropping the Golem down early. It's a great defensive and offensive card, and here comes a Pekka from the other side. Again, like I've talked about previously, we hope to have these big unit confrontations, or really almost any confrontation, on our own side of the bridge, because the tower can go into action and help out, act like another troop. But in the back, it's the three Musketeers. My opponent is splitting them, so one is going to work on defense, try to take down the Golem, the other two on their way towards me. But the Minion Horde has gotten through. Because the three Musketeers is so demanding on Elixir, there was no way that he could have stopped my push on the right-hand side. The freeze spell comes too late. The Musketeers on the left-hand side fall to the Valkyrie, and the Musketeer on the right-hand side completely helpless to stop that giant push, and I've gone up early, 1 crown to 0 against this level 12 opponent. Now, usually I advise to just sit back on defense when you're facing a higher level player and you've gone up early 1 crown to 0, especially in a situation like this where he has done very little damage to either one of my towers. I'm not really focusing on a 2-1 win. I'm really hoping just to stave him off and keep him away from the slightly damaged left tower. As you can see, I've lost about 500 hit points, so I'm using the Golem defensively. I was at full Elixir. I dropped the Golem a little earlier than I would have liked. Now that I know that, yes, the Pekka and the three Musketeers are coming at me, this is going to be a big problem as they get through. Obviously, you've got the Princess and his own tower, and that Golem is going to disappear after the Pekka and the three Musketeers get to it, and here comes a huge push. All I can hope for is, yes, dropping another Golem, get it in front of the tower before the units get there. Yet another Pekka. So now you've got a pair of Pekka, the Princess, a three Musketeers, a freeze spell on my units. All we can really hope for at this point is to stall them long enough so that I can get this battle over with the 1 crown lead. One Pekka badly damaged, one is headed for the tower. Doesn't look good, but 5 seconds left. The Minion Horde is down. The Pekka gets to the tower, but time is going to run out. 366 hit points, and I just narrowly miss that tie as time runs out, beating the level 12 player 1 crown to 0 with the Golem Swarm deck. So we'll take a look at another 4,000 plus battle, this time my opponent using Hog Freeze Poison, so a very different strategy than the big three Musketeer Pekka we saw last time. My deck slightly different than the last deck, again with the Elixir Collector, again with Golem Swarm, but I've put in the Princess instead of the regular minions. Now you can see my opponent working on battling against my Elixir Collectors right away. Even though the Hog Rider doesn't get it down, it does enough damage that I'm not going to profit from that Elixir, and the poison spell makes it worse. That Elixir Collector is down, and I definitely lost some there as his is pumping away, giving him an early Elixir advantage, and I dropped the Golem on the right hand side. This really works out offensively or defensively. By dropping it this far back, it gives me several seconds to rebuild that Elixir and really respond to whatever he is going to use to counter it, and that is really where it comes down to winning a battle with a Golem. You've got to get that Golem to the tower and be able to react to whatever counter he applies to try to stop your Golem. In this case, he doesn't have defensive structures. He's going to use those units, the poison spell and the freeze spell, to get the Golem down. It works out pretty well. I do get several hundred hit points off the tower, and he sends in another Hog. It goes after my Elixir Collector once again, which really does serve a dual purpose. Obviously, it can distract units. It's not going to do damage, but it did prevent that hog from doing any damage to either one of my towers. I am still at full health, and you can see his right lane tower is now over 1,000 hit points into the red, as my princess this time is going to work on taking down that elixir collector, or at least slowing it down, again preventing it from giving him a profit. It costs him 5, he's not going to get any more than that back now that it has been damaged even in the slightest. So I dropped the golem trying to protect the tower, but you can see that musketeer got through, did some damage, so now things pretty close. I'm actually a little bit behind as that tower is down below 50%. We're into the last 60 seconds. It's double elixir. I don't really expect this golem to get much done, but as it works its way there, you can see it is causing my opponent to use all sorts of different cards, including the poison and the freeze spell to slow it down, and that gives me a chance to build up elixir once again and try to get there with yet another push. 38 seconds left. I've got the Minion Horde down. That works out for the Valkyrie. They are just about going to get to the tower with the zap spell. I can get a few hundred more hit points off that tower. The princess falls to the poison. 25 seconds left and I've regained the lead, but here comes the Hog Rider, but he will go after the elixir collector once again. And obviously me dropping that elixir collector there is more of a distraction than it is designed to gain me an elixir advantage late in the battle. My opponent's got one down as well. The princess works, and now I'm dropping the golem up front, right at the front, because I know I've got another elixir or two coming out of the collector, and of course, double elixir time. We go into overtime and things are looking good here. That golem is full size and he is going to get to the tower. Even though the poison spell gets rid of all of my other units, the golem has gotten through. The princess gets a shot or two off, and that should be all I need. The golemite's working hard on the last 100 hit points on that tower, and that is going to do it right there in overtime, grabbing the 1-0 crown win using the Golem Swarm deck above 4,000 trophies. So I will keep struggling and keep resetting every season, but there's all this talk about this deck or that deck or the Jason deck or what deck works and what deck doesn't. In my opinion, as long as you have a fundamentally sound deck, it's really 2/3 about how you play those cards and only 1/3 about what cards you bring with you. Thank you guys, as always, for sticking around all the way to the end of this episode. Hit that subscribe button, thumbs up if you like the video, and I hope to see you all back here again tomorrow for more full attacks. Galadon, it's 20% about the dick, 40% about the player, and 80% about the gym box. Why?